do a pre-recorded video. How in the world we gonna get it all? We got to have a esthetician on site.
We are live.
Round up. What's going round up? The reason we late round up, Nicole it does all this stuff, but then the main thing is women, my ladies, y'all do all this stuff, and you gotta look good.
We gotta come on right. We cannot just come on here just any old kind of way. Guys, y'all have that luxury. Like nobody's paying attention to y'all like that. Y'all can wear whatever y'all want and you're fine. Women, we have to come on here representing. We're not.
Round up. Good morning, greetings, class, greetings. We are here during the quarantine. I'm excited to have my guest, Nicole Henderson, aka Unstoppable Nicole from New York, Harlem. Is that where you're from?
That is where I was born and raised. Spanish Harlem.
Spanish Harlem. That is so cool. Unstoppable Nicole. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well this morning, and I just want to say thank you, Chris, for having me on the show.
Yeah, nice. Yep. Round up. Usually I'm trying to cross pollinate. I'm trying to get your mind into entrepreneurship. I'm trying not to have incest in my thinking. My mentor used to say, "Do not commit business incest and only study real estate, guys. Hang out with people that are doing other businesses because that's where the big ideas come from." Just like the drive up through the fast food, the fast food industry stole the banking idea with the drive up teller. So now we got food that can put food through the wall. And when he told me that story, I'm like, you know what? I need to listen to other people too, real estate guys.
Right,
That's where the break
right.
come through.
Hmm.
Nicole, let me know. Give us just a little bit about your background. I know you just doing so many things. You're on the front line. The major thing I wanted to talk about is being on the front line regarding this pandemic, pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, and I want to know your thoughts on how we got to where we are. And I know so much. A lot of people don't look like you that are on the media, and I want to know the real story of what's going on in your day-to-day life. Really, give me some background first.
Okay, some background first. Born and raised in New York City, and then I actually moved, and I grew up in the projects. So, where life was not like any other when I grew up and saw other cultures and were in other environments, I'm like, oh, so y'all don't have bullets flying over your head while you outside trying to ride your bike?
You're in a bowl.
Oh, there's
You like in a
yeah,
bowl.
right. And then I'm like, and they're like, no, they're like, that happens in your neighborhood. And I'm like, that happens in my neighborhood, my friend's neighborhood. So, I just didn't understand because growing up in the projects, that's all we knew. We knew violence. We knew the drug dealers. We knew, you know, that we can be outside and have to try to save our lives, out there at 7 years old, parents, kids, it didn't matter. Like bullets have no age.
Yeah, no face.
So so I grew up in that type of environment, and I was fortunate that my mom relocated, and once we relocated to Florida, that's when I was able to finish my last year of high school, which brought me to go into the army. And I was actually going to go to college to be a child psychologist. And I was sitting there and I was like at the bus stop with this young lady, and the recruiter came up and he was telling her all about the army and how you could be a nurse in the army. And I was like, well, tell me more about this. And then I ended up joining the army and she didn't.
Oh
So I
wow.
became an LPN, which is a licensed practical nurse in the army. And after that, I furthered my career after I got out of the army, which I became a single mom. And during my third year of college, and I didn't give up. I had my newborn with me, and I
Wow.
finished up the senior year strong and with honors. And I
Unbelievable,
just
man.
knew my son was dependent on me. So I couldn't give up. So from the army to nursing school, where I got my bachelor's, in nursing, and then I went on to work in the ICU, and I saw a lot.
God.
So I loved it, but I always, my hope and my passion and my dream was always to be a labor and delivery nurse. I wanted to be there when life was being brought into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I labor with these women and see them in their most painful state in their lives. And then I see the present, the gift at the end. And I'm a
Nice.
part of that.
Wow, cool. So let me ask you, our baby's gonna be here in 2 weeks. Can we just come pick you up and come here so we don't got
You can, and everything probably will be okay, but we still should be in a safe environment, because what number
Oh
baby is this?
God.
What
This
number
is
baby is
3. She's gonna just spit it out. We can just do, keep it moving.
we really could. We really could. but
Okay.
but we always want to be safe, especially if you haven't done the whole pregnancy in that way. But you got me on standby, because the hospital policy now is just one visitor. So
Yeah, that's
because
crazy.
of the coronavirus, and labor and delivery is the only place that's having one visitor. But other than that, all the other hospitals, you have no visitors.
No visitors.
No visitors for any other floor. ICU, med surge, your OR, waiting rooms.
Nobody.
The family can't even wait in the waiting rooms. They
That's what I
cannot
was
wait
concerned
inside
about.
the hospital.
Wow, I was concerned about that because as people are coming and going, luckily the labor unit is a separate wing, so it can't get contaminated with the other stuff. So wow, I had no idea. I'm glad you're telling me this. Nobody's
Right.
coming anymore. We're
Nobody's
gonna talk
coming.
about your book, co-parenting, your past, present, future. I mean, so much stuff, the juicy stuff round up. So you got Unstoppable Nicole here. Nicole Henderson, get the questions in for she's a mom entrepreneur dealing with all that stuff and growing a business. When did you sleep, by the way? I don't even.
Now, sleep for a single mom is not really what we do. We want to do it. We daydream about doing it.
Mhm.
But unfortunately it's not a lot of sleep when you're trying to get the business up and rolling. And when I tell you about the book, I wasn't even going to write this book. Okay. I had a mentor tell me, if you don't write this book, then you're being selfish. And I'm
Yeah.
like, selfish? Like, how you can call me selfish? I'm the most giving person. Like, I'm a nurse. You know how nurturing you have to be just to be a nurse?
Mhm.
But he explained, he said, your book can save so many lives. And I was like, yeah, but that's why I want to go and talk to the people. I want to go out there, put my hands on them. I want to be there. He was like, yeah, but your book can get more places than you can get. So with that being said, I was like, okay, I'm going to write the book. And when I tell you, I released the book on July 18th of 2019, and on July 19th, it was a #1 bestseller.
Congratulations.
And I'm like, really? The kid from the projects, like,
It's something.
so anything is possible.
Yeah.
Single mom of 3 kids.
Wow.
Born and raised in the projects. Society told me, no, you're not going to amount to anything. You're going to be on this park bench generation after generation after generation. And I was like, that's just not true for my life. And
Wow.
God had a plan for me. And he has basically ordered my steps the whole way. And even though I've stumbled and I've ran ahead of God, and that's what I talk about in the book, running ahead of God and making my own plans, and then having to deal with the consequences. But
Coming
he
back.
still helped me persevere through it.
Like some of the stuff in the book, I don't know if I love it. Just very intriguing. You're very descriptive. You're taking me there in the words that you're using. I love the fact that you're a good storyteller. I don't know how I feel about it. I'm emotional about it. My questions are: why did you have to go? Why are you in certain places that you're at? Why are you experiencing? Do you even have to deal with some of the people? how many people are going through the same thing? I mean, you got over it, but I think you have a little, you might have some more adversity in your life to be able to deal with that. How many people are going through the same issues?
Well, I can tell you this. In the 2018 census, it said that there are 11 million single parent homes. And of those 11 million single parent homes, 8.8 are single moms. So, one thing you have to know about women, we are nurturers. And when we love hard. So, we will love a man at his lowest, and we will give them chance after chance after chance because we believe in them that they can get it together, you know, and especially when you're dealing with a man that has other adversities out in the world. So you
Especially being a
try,
black man, yeah.
right, especially being a black man. So you try and to recognize that, right? But sometimes they have issues that they haven't dealt with, and they bring that in the relationship. And they say a lot of times, oh, black women are bitter and they're mean, or they're, no, we're strong, but we just are not going to take just any and everything. And that's women, single moms too. You know, it's not just black women, but single moms too. We're not just going to sit here and allow and accept. And single moms, you shouldn't sit here and allow and accept, even if it is the children, the father of your children, to sit here and not show up. You're showing up for them every day. They need to show up for you. And if they want to be called a king, and they need to play their part. And if they're not playing their part, then you got to move on. Because what
Wow.
you're going to do is create a generational curse. You're going to generate a cycle. They're going to see the argument. They're going to see the distance that you guys have. They're going to see that you guys are not getting along. And then they're going to think that's how life is when you're with
Mm,
someone.
I didn't think
And
about
then
that.
all they're going to do is repeat the cycle because they're going to think that's the norm.
Mm.
And you, as the parent, have to break that and say, no, this is not the norm. And that's what I did, because my children are older in age. I have 18, I have a 13, and I have a 4. And they
Wow.
do all have different dads. And a lot of people sometimes say, like, well, you have 3 different dads. Yeah, I sure do, because I tried to get it right each time. And even though I didn't, I refused to sit there and stay and be unappreciated. I
Wow.
refused to sit there and stay and have my children think that what is dysfunctional is functional.
Holy
So
cow.
you hold the power, okay? And it's up to you. Now, some relationships aren't safe. And I talk about that in my book also. And I don't have any children by the relationships that was unsafe. But those relationships that are unsafe, women have to be smart about getting out. They just can't pack their bags and say, okay, I'm leaving you today, because some of these dudes are crazy and they'll
Mhm.
kill you. They'll kill
Wow.
you, they'll kill the kids, they'll kill themselves. Like, you can't just pack up and leave on a crazy dude. But there's other places and people in place to help you with the safe transition. And I want women to know that. And you got to think about it right now. We're in a time where people are told that they have to be in their house right now. And for some
Oh, wow.
people, the house is not safe. It's not
Holy
safe.
cow. I never thought about that. So you're telling me that this coronavirus has more implications than what's being on the media. That's why I wanted to talk to you. I'm like, I know that there's a story out here that's not being broadcast in my community. And I wanted you to talk about how is that affecting my single parents out here, Nicole?
Well, first of all, you have some moms that are single moms that we work. So some of our jobs aren't canceled. So let's talk about those moms first. You still now have to try to find childcare, but yet there's social distancing. Who's watching the kids while we go to work?
Oh, wow.
Who's watching it? And that's so stressful. And some employers are not thinking about that. They're not thinking about, like, wow, what is my employee going through that they don't have the proper childcare, but we're putting the same demands on them. You're still
Mm.
going to show up to work on time. You're still going to work your whole shift. You're still going to be taking just short little breaks when your home life is not good.
Mm.
And I urge employers to really get down and know your people and see how you can be of a assistance and stop trying to run business as usual, because business is
Yeah.
not as
It's not.
usual.
Yeah, you're right. It's not.
You know, single moms are stressed out, couples are stressed out, husbands
Yeah.
and wives are stressed out.
Mm.
So, but husband and wives, at least y'all have each other. So if you have each other and it's like, okay, your turn with the kids, let me get some work
That's what we do.
done,
Yeah.
and then you can swap off, especially when you have little ones, because that matters too, how old your kids are. Little ones need more attention. They're not going to sit while you have to do a presentation.
Mm-mm.
They're not going to sit there and be quiet.
Yeah.
And employers can't be like, well, you need to get this done, this done. You're working from home. You should be able to do this. Do you know these kids are not used to being in the house all day?
Mm-mm.
And we have to come into grasp and rearrange stuff. And 3 weeks is not a long time to just get it all in a good rotation.
Yeah. Wow. Roundup. If you're just joining us, I'm hanging out with Nicole Henderson. New books out on Unstoppable Nicole. And you can get, is there a link? We put the video. I mean, what are they going to get in that link below, Nicole?
I want you to get this from my website, www.unstoppablenicole.com. And when you go on there, it will be a link to the book, and the book is on Amazon.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you, I want to talk about a little bit about the healthcare stuff and then more about your entrepreneurial. You say you're a perseverance expert. I'm just like, perseverance is such a broad. I'm thinking about my business. Like, I had to persevere to get here. I'm like, oh, and Jesus, if I had to take that out of me and put it in somebody, I wouldn't know where to. I mean, so much. Before we get to that, tell me about how your life has changed being a nurse on the battlefield, dealing with the healthcare industry pre-corona and right now. How has it changed?
So, we used to take for granted coming to work and coming into our patient's room, being able to touch and feel. We're nurses. Touch is a healing touch that we give.
Uh-huh.
And we used to coming in and being side by side with our patients. And now to come in and you have to have a mask on and already gloved up, like every patient
On
is
everybody?
Yeah,
Just in
everybody.
general,
So
that's your outfit. I mean, that is your uniform.
that is our uniform.
Holy cow.
Going into the rooms now, where we used to just wear our scrubs.
Yeah.
And and especially like labor and delivery, I'm in the shower with my patient. I'm in, all over the room doing different maneuvers to get the baby to come down to help the woman labor. And it's like, now you have all of this on. It feels so impersonal. Just coming
Wow.
into work, we used to, we patients used to just come on in and come up to the floor. Now they have to stop and get screened.
Mm.
And
Are they checking temperature?
that's
They checked my
like,
temperature before I went in to get my allergy shot the other day. Are they doing that too?
yes, they're checking temperatures. They're asking you the questions. If you've been on travel, have you been exposed to anyone with the virus, and are you having any symptoms? So it's just totally different now. So think about it. Your wife, we're going to use her as an example, is in full-blown labor. And I don't know how many women have experienced labor, but it hurts. Single moms, you already know it hurts. You can get through it, you're going to live, but it hurts. But to be stopped, and then you have to get your temperature taken, make sure you don't
Yeah, I
have
ain't trying to.
symptoms,
I would do none of
answer
that.
questions. You're not trying to do that. You're
Yeah.
trying to get in there, get some pain medicine if you're that that in that need, or and it's just like things have just changed, and I don't like it because of what we do. It's like, no, I need to be close to my patient. I need to be holding her hand. I need to be rubbing her back. And you can do all of that. But it's like, when you can see your nurse's face is different when you got this big old mask on and these goggles and like, it's like,
Wow, this is
who
crazy.
am I? But then to deal with now running out of equipment. I watched the
What?
headlines so much in New York City and how these nurses, my fellow colleagues, are in New York crying because they don't have enough gowns. They don't have enough masks, and they're actively dealing with the coronavirus population. Positive coronavirus, not I think you got it, you may have it, let's quarantine you. No, positive results. People on ventilators, not having enough ventilators. So basically, you're just one person die, you throw a sheet over them and you go and you take the ventilator and try to use it on the next person. And it's like,
Oh,
it's sad that we are in a time like this
which
where
country in the world?
this is going on, and certain hospitals are not prepared for it in this capacity, and not to have what protects us. Because if we're not protected, how are we going to help the patient?
Yeah, you can't.
We're the ones that got to be there. And to threaten, nurses have been, not at my hospital, but nurses have been threatened about using too much protection. They have been threatened if they call out. They have been like, who? Shame on you, corporate. Shame on you that you would treat your front line. And I say nurses because they don't treat the doctors like that. They hold the doctors in high regard, and you should hold everybody in high regard. But your nurses, they are the ones in that room day in and day out.
Constant.
Even pre-coronavirus, your 12-hour shift, you are in those rooms from the time you get there to the time you leave. So
I didn't think about this stuff so much.
it is. It's like so on a broad spectrum where corporate makes decisions, but nobody talks to the nurses that are at the bedside. And that is what hurts my heart the most. You won't talk to the people who are in the trenches. You have not had clinical bedside nursing in who knows how many years.
Mm-hmm.
And you looking at numbers, and
And
you're not looking at the people. What is that nurse going home to? She can't touch her children.
yeah, how when you going home? Give me a picture of that.
Well,
You mentioned it's funny you mentioned that in New York. I've got a friend that's in hospital administrative, and he said there's a tractor trailer outside of his window, and they're just loading bodies in it. Nicole,
yeah,
I mean,
because they ran out of room in the morgue. Yeah, I have colleagues up in New York, and they told me the same thing.
he's like
That
it's right outside his window, and it's
yeah,
like I guess when it first happened, it was like a shock. But I mean, the way he says it now, it's almost like status quo. We'll just put him in the truck. I mean, that's like that's what's happening. I mean, it's almost not like a big deal anymore.
and that's
When
what I'm talking about. Stuff becoming the norm. That's
wow.
crazy.
When you go home, tell me how does that look? Are you taking a shower? I mean,
Yeah. So when I come home, I come in and I strip right at the door. I don't allow the children to touch me. I put everything in a plastic bag, and
good
then I
gracious.
take a shower, and after I do all of that and take the shower, because this should be everybody, not just nurses, because you don't realize you go to the grocery store, you don't know who has it. We have a stay in order, but we still have to get food. We still have to get gas for the people that still have to go out to work. So everybody should be doing this. Everybody should be coming, stripping down at the door, putting your clothes in a plastic bag,
Gotcha.
going to take a full shower,
Wow.
have the water as hot as you can have it, and then wash those clothes that you were outside with. And even with your children, if you can help, don't take your children to the grocery store.
Yeah.
If you can help it, because thank God Virginia hasn't seen a peak yet. We haven't gotten to New York numbers yet. I pray to God we don't ever get to New York numbers,
Yeah.
because it's just,
We can't handle it. Yeah. We're not anywhere close to the facilities that they would have up there. I mean, we would be done. Unbelievable, man. Unstoppable Nicole hanging out with me today. Roundup. Go to the link below. She's got her book out, Unstoppable Nicole, Perseverance Expert. Tell me about your entrepreneurial ventures. And then we're at 25 minutes. I don't want to hold you all day. Tell me about your entrepreneurial. Where are we at with this business, and what is your mission regarding your book and your mission statement?
so right now, even before coronavirus, I started an online course for single moms.
Online
And
course for single
in
moms. I love it. Niche.
yeah, right. And one of the courses is called Break Up to Build Up. And with Break Up to Build Up, I take a single mom from beginning to end, and I start with her wherever she is in her process of getting rid of toxicity in her life, to knowing her worth, for helping her not feel guilty about being a single mom or ashamed, and just other things. I take them to help build them up, and then at the end of it, to help them find their purpose if they don't already know it, or point them in the right direction and how to get started, because every single mom needs a home-based business.
I love it.
I'm just putting it out there. Every single mom
Another
needs
income stream.
a home-based business,
I love
because
it.
there's so many deductions that you can take. It's more flexibility. And then you don't have to choose. You don't know when you have to choose between your kids and keeping a roof over their head. And this course just helps. And what I love about it, I'm versatile in the way I grew up in the projects. Now I'm a #1 best-selling author, and I'm a registered nurse. So I can go from the projects
A to
to a
Z.
high-powered career woman. Wherever you want to go, you will not be judged by me, okay?
Yes.
Because life has happened to me, and I just want to be able to give you the answers to the test before you even take the test, right? So if I can help another single mom in whatever stage of life that she is in, so that she can have betterment success for herself and her kids, that's what Break Up to Build Up is about.
So now let me ask you now I'm thinking myself, I mean, I would prefer to be in a relationship. How is it challenging on the female side and what you teach? I don't know what the pool is like. I feel like I've been out of the game. I burnt my black book like I think
Black
so
book.
long
Who got
ago.
those? Who got those?
But I want to promote unity, togetherness. I don't necessarily want my ladies to be single, but I mean, if that's the best thing to do,
We
but
don't
I
want
don't
to
know.
be single. Well, I'll say majority of us don't want to be single.
Okay.
We don't want to be single, but then you got to think now, when you're a single mom, it's not about you anymore. You have these
Oh,
kids,
well,
and
yeah,
you're
okay.
your
Emphasis
kids'
on mom.
first line. Right. You're your kid's first line of protection.
Emphasis on
Right.
okay. I
So
got it.
it's just you, and then you out there dating. It's like, oh, whatever. Oh, I'll call him. I won't call him. But when you're a single mom, it's more serious now. You're not out there dating just to be dating. You're dating with a purpose.
I
Like,
see.
who's gonna come in, be a good fit for me and my kids?
I
Who's
see.
gonna come in here and have the same values and morals, and can only bring us up and take us to the next level as a family? Because see, that's the thing about it. Families today are so broken,
Yeah.
because if the relationship breaks up, sometimes one side or the other doesn't co-parent well,
Mhm.
and that's a strain, and that's really, really a big strain on single moms. Like, I've had single moms call me, like, or email me and say, what do you do when your children's father hasn't even called during COVID, just to even
Oh
see
my Lord.
anything? And I'm like, I totally understand. And I'm like, but you show your children that y'all gonna be all right regardless. And just because one person does something one way, you don't have to do it that way. You
Mhm.
always be better. Like, I always tell my kids, from growing up, because I have an 18-year-old son. I always tell him, when you know better, you do better. And
That's
then I
true.
hear that a lot now, and I'm like, I made that up. I made that up.
And you're not even getting paid. You should have got a.
I'm like, tag, I'm not getting paid for that. I made that up. But I do. I tell my kids that, and I tell my single moms that, always just do better, because what thing your kids will always know is how you handled it.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I'm
don't
just
worry.
thinking, I couldn't imagine being in the dating game now. I don't want to make this about dating, but I'm like, so much technology. My whole life is online. So I'm like, if I was,
Right?
I
Yeah,
guess I'm
because that's
presuming that.
another thing. Like some guys want to text, and I'm like, if you don't pick up the phone and call me, but if I gotta tell you that, then that's a problem, and you just not the one for me. Like, no, you need to talk to me on the phone, have conversation, because my thing is, can you have conversation? Can you have conversation?
That's a big one.
Especially in this time.
You better be able to put some words together, bro. If
Your
not, you can't make no
conversation better
money.
be on.
You can't make no money if you can't put some word. The command of the it wasn't until recently that I understood how powerful words are.
Yeah.
Powerful they are.
Yeah.
But your message is so cool. Perseverance. What does that mean to you to be a perseverance expert?
Perseverance means life is going to hit you. Don't be in this bubble that nothing in life is ever going to happen to you. No, even the Bible says you will have trials and tribulations. So life is going to hit you. You can try to do everything, quote unquote, the right way, but life is going to hit you. But what you do about it is what's important. Me, I go to God about it, and I pray for his wisdom and his discernment, so that he can tell me how to get through it. And even
Golly, Roundup, I lost her.
if it's something that I caused on myself, I know that I can't just stop there. So you can hear me? You good?
Yeah, last thing you were saying, you got cut
can't
off.
hear
You were like, you go in prayer and then
I can't
talking
hear
about being. Can you hear me? I
I
lost
can't
you.
hear you.
We probably got hold tight. Roundup. Let me see if I can get her back on here. I'm gonna kick you off. There you go. Roundup. Thanks for joining us. A little bit different guest for today, but I felt like it was important to hear from this segment of the population, my segment. Here's the thing: when I turn the news on, I'm seeing what they want me to see, but I'm not seeing what I want to see. For the people that are important to me. Nicole, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you just great.
Can't hear me. Oh, okay, cool. All right.
Yeah.
So we're talking about perseverance. I know for me, if I would have,
Right.
how do you put that in a bottle? I mean, how in the world? So much stuff. I mean, you've experienced a lot looking at your book. I'm like, you've been good gracious. How do you
Yeah.
box it up and help? I guess get the message out to the people.
The way I box it up is I start with my online course, and I also do speaking engagements. I also do virtual speeches now, especially because of Corona. And I actually, in the program, I am meeting up on Zoom with these women, or whatever type of form of the WebEx or whatever it is, and I'm meeting up with them and constructing a plan for them. And when I do my workshop trainings, I construct plans for them too. They answer a survey, and we get into it, because this is one thing I don't know how to give up. Like, giving up is not an option. That's one of my things. Perseverance equals winning, and giving up is not an option. And especially as a single mom, you can't just one day just be like, oh, you know what? This is hard. I'm just not going to do this anymore. Or, you know what? I should be in a relationship right now. I deserve. And you know what? Because I'm not getting what I want, I'm done, you know?
Wow.
And so many times as a single mom, the weight is on our shoulders, because depending on the children's father, they just up and disappear, or they don't do their part 100%. And that's not all single fathers. It's not, because I have
Yeah.
some good friends. And they are really good single fathers, really, really good single fathers.
Yeah, I don't hear
And
you bashing guy. I don't hear you out there on the street bashing men too. I'm glad
no,
that you.
no, I don't. And that's one thing that I don't do, because you know why I know? God sees everything. So God sees what I'm going through. God sees when these bills need to be paid, and you know, and you're not getting help with the bills. God sees how much these kids eat, but I'm gonna tell you, God always provides. If it ain't them providing, God is always providing, and these kids haven't gone hungry. They haven't
Wow.
gone unclothed or a roof over their head, and that's all to God. But my thing is this: they gonna have to deal with God, and that's what I tell single moms. Don't worry about them. God is going to deal with them. You sit here and you make these memories with your kids, because when
Wow.
your kids grow up, like I have an 18-year-old, and he has
You
been with
remember
me through this whole journey, and he
memories.
remembers stuff. And one thing that he always remember, he tell me all the time, he be like, "No, mom, I know you gonna come through. If you say you gonna do it, you gonna do it." He was like, "It's God, and then there's you." He was like, "Because I know you're gonna do the best that you can, always with our best interests." And
Gotcha.
it should be like that for both sides, but unfortunately sometimes it's not.
So, what will be your parting message for when you said I think everybody needs to have some type of entrepreneurial venture, perhaps.
Mhm.
I'm not going
Mhm.
to say what that should be. I personally think it should be something on the internet because the internet marketers are killing it right now. It's going crazy. I mean, you look at stores shutting down, restaurants, all the storefronts are just they're not doing as good as they were pre-coronavirus.
Right.
What is your message for? Let's just go ahead and get niche with it for the single moms or single parents out here that possibly want to become an entrepreneur.
Okay, I would definitely tell them, find what your purpose is. And if you need you and you have to have a mentor. You can't just one day wake up and say, "Okay, I want to do this," and then just try anything. You'll waste a lot of money, and you have to find a credible,
Undecided.
find someone who's already doing it and in the capacity of where you want to be, right? So my mentors are multimillionaires, right? Because financial freedom is important for me, so that I can have that more time with my kids, because time is
Time.
important.
Yeah.
You're right, because we can't get that back. And
Mm-mm.
as being a single mom, we've had to stretch ourselves so much. So you need to find a mentor that will take you under their wing and help you create your home-based business, tell you how to do sales, tell you how to do marketing, tell you what products are good. You need that. So I touch on that also in my course, depending on where the woman is, you know.
Gotcha.
So some women, you have to change their mindset. That's why the book is called
First.
Take Back Your Strength, Your Mindset, Your Finances.
Gotcha.
And that's because you have to first have the strength to say, "I'm going to keep on going." Then you have to have the mindset to
Mhm.
say, "This is what's true, this is what I'm capable of." And then your finances, you can't do something when you have nothing
Yeah.
to do it with. So you have to start somewhere. The credit score, the you know the good relationships. And I would say that to build relationships, and like how I met you at church, and I was like, "Oh, I buy houses." Because you had the shirt on, and I was like, "Oh, come here, let's talk." Because wait a minute, I want to sell my house right now. You buy houses. So just networking, and with that networking and joint ventures, you can do so many things, like how we are now. you know so I would definitely say, get a mentor.
Get a
And I
mentor.
do, I mentor single moms, and I will speak to companies, I will speak to whatever population just wants somebody real,
Mhm.
because it's different when you got someone talking that hasn't lived and walked in the shoes.
Yeah, that's something. You definitely done that, Nicole. Listen, it's been 40 minutes. I don't want to take your whole day. I'm excited for you. I feel like hopefully I got so many ideas in my mind I want to run by you. We've met a few
Yes.
times off the camera, so I'm thinking maybe we'll chop it up while we got some time to just be at home during this COVID thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Round Up family, thanks for joining us. Make sure you get Nicole's stuff in the video description below. That's going to give you her. Can they sign up for your VIP list and just get notifications of what you got coming?
Yes, sign up for my VIP list, and I will definitely send out the notifications when the next class is, when the next webinar is, everything. Because
Nice.
guys, knowledge is not going to help you when you don't take action behind it.
Oh,
So you can know it all day. You can know it all day.
A lot of broke smart people. I know a lot of them. They call me every day. I already know. I call it I already know itis. Nicole, people call me. I already know. Blah it out. I'm like, you already know. Why you calling me? What are you calling me for? I don't even. You already know. You are doing it.
They need to. You need to be. They need to be open. Problem. Work through. That's important because that's a mindset thing too. You can't come up with a wall, and I know you can't just trust and listen to everybody, but ask God for discernment. True. Ask God for discernment so that He'll put the right people in your path to walk out the purpose and plan that He has for your life.
Nice, I love it. Round Up family, Nicole Henderson, Unstoppable Nicole. Get the book, Perseverance. I mean, such a
Perseverance expert single mom educator.
Wow, that is so cool. Nothing educator plus author, nurse. I mean, okay, gracious.
Army
okay.
Veteran,
yeah. Round Up, get her stuff. I'll see you later today at 5 o'clock. I've got Justin, another real estate entrepreneur, just had a problem with some real estate in Ohio. So, guys, I'm bringing you the real stuff that's going on out there in the field. Luckily, I was able to liquidate a bunch of houses before this thing hit. So I'm like ready to buy. I'm just sitting, literally waiting for the prices to drop.
Wow.
Round Up, I'll see you soon. Go ahead, Nicole.
I said, yep, I'm ready. I'm ready for the prices to drop too.
It's coming. It's coming. Okay. Yeah, stay tuned. Make sure you hit that bell, subscribe, hit that bell, and please share this with any other mom entrepreneurs out there and comment. Let us know what you're doing. What businesses are you starting? Bye, everybody.